going on, guys? It's your boy Negative bringing you another video. Another guest upload today. We got my boy Team NDL guard. He's got a Monarch deck. It's very sick. He goes over strats. Check it out. Hit a like, comment, subscribe. His description will be down below. Thank you so much, guys. Negative out. Peace.
How are you feeling today? It's Sarah Survey from Team NDL and welcome to a new deck profile. I'm guest uploading at my Negative channel and I'm bringing you a deck profile that you've never seen before ever. Monarchs. But seriously though, this is a deck that I think is really fun. It can stop some few things in Master Rule 5, which is really cool. Didn't really get a boost from it, but I still think that this deck is really fun. It's one of my favorites because it's just really nice. I do think they should have got a boost from the ban list by getting Pantheism at least to 2, because the deck itself doesn't really do a whole lot of things, but still, the deck is still very powerful even without Pantheism to 3, but it does struggle a little bit because of that. Also, before we begin, if you like the video or you want to just support us, please consider to like, subscribing, also subscribing into me, because if you just want to help us and just let us know also what you think about these decks, it just will help us a little bit more on our individual channels to just, you know, do stuff. To start things off, we'll start off, as you see, with 3 Aether, 3 copies of Ouroboros as well. These are your main Monarchs that you want to run 3 of each. This one, when you summon it, it's just giving you the ability to, of course, when you distribute it, you get the ability to send 2 Monarch spells and traps to pretty much summon any Monarch from your deck. Pretty much like the big ones, but it doesn't have its effect because you do need to tribute it and it's returned to your hand during the end phase, which is not really a big deal because it does give you a body on board as well as just giving you a card that you might want to use for next turn, which is really cool, and Foolish Barrier your spells and traps, which you also want to do as well. And the last thing you want to have is the particular other effect, which is just have a quick effect tributing effect, which is really cool during your opponent's turn. Ouroboros is just giving you the same idea, sending 2 spells and traps, but in this particular case you get to shuffle a card from your hand, field, or graveyard to your opponent, which is really cool. So that's really nice, so you get to pretty much spin a card back, which is really cool. And then the other effect is that, like, if it's in the graveyard, you get to send a Monarch spell and trap from your hand or graveyard, or to your hand to the graveyard, send one of them, and then recycle a Monarch or a monster with 24 or more attack, and then 1000 defense, which is really cool. So you can recycle your Monarchs or anyone that you wish. Then for your mini, or should I say not mini Monarchs, but for your other one-offs Monarchs, we're running 1 copy of Vestalos, 1 copy of Caius, and 1 copy of Karaz. These serve as your additional Monarchs that you kind of need here and there because they do really feel important. Vestalos is just another nice spin. I don't think as good as this one, but it's still a nice spin, or should I say at least a discard. Caius is just, I will just banish 2 cards on board, which is really cool. And then Karaz is just pop 2 cards to give 2 draws. You can give it like to your opponent and pop 2 cards to him if you feel like you can OTK or something. But most of the time you want to pop your own cards to just get more fuel moving forward. So that's it for the big Monarchs. Now we'll move on to the smaller ones, or should I say the supporting ones. We're running 3 copies of Eidos and 3 copies of Idea. Idea is your one that you want to summon mostly. You normal special summon this or whatever, and then you get to special summon this from your deck, which is pretty much the idea of this. You summon a Squire essentially, or should I say a monster with 800 attack, and 1000 defense. But you're mostly going to summon one of your like Eidos. So yeah. And the other effect is if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to recycle one of your banished spells and traps to the hand, which is really cool. In the case of Eidos, when he's summoned, you're also getting an additional normal summon, which is really nice. So if you have this, you can just get another Monarch, which is really cool, I guess. And the other effect is, if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to revive Idea, mostly, because this is the only one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense that you have. I would say you could run additional 800,000 defense, or should I say, like, you know, things like Mithra, but Mithra is a problematic because Mithra kind of like, how should I say this? Oh yeah, give your opponent a token, which is something that you don't want to do in era that we also have links. Back in the day, I would say it could have been nice, but today it's just not really that great. Then one copy of Majesty's Fiend, your last monarch that also kind of like deal with your opponent monster effects. Also block you, but most of the time it's not going to matter for you, at least during the end phase or whatever, or the end of your turn. 2 copies of Link Slayer. This one is just helping you to remove cards from your hand, or should I say like to pop cards on the board, as well as just like giving you the ability of getting an additional body, which is sometimes that you need for your summons. So that pretty much does it for the monsters, and we'll move on to the spells. First off, let's start with 3 copies of this particular lovely spell, Domain of the True Monarchs. This one helps you to pretty much reduce the big ones by 2 levels, so that's really cool. Another thing is it just pretty much block your opponent from summoning monsters from the extra deck. It's pretty much what it does. It's nothing else in that regard, because you are not going to have an extra deck anyway, so yeah, it's just a really good benefit. Also, it's giving you the ability of something, I think, like kind of having additional 800 attack, or should I say like your monster getting 800 attack during damage calculation. It's a little bit more in the more not important one, only when you're getting to battle. So yeah, I'm not going to go over that much. Then 3 copies of the Monarch Stormforth, tributing during your opponent's turn, tributing just in general using your opponent's monsters. Really cool. Tenacity, just you reveal a monarch, or should I say monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense, or 28, and you get to search one of your monarch spells and traps, which is really cool. 3 copies of Return, just if you tribute, you get to search, which is really nice. And then for your one-offs, 1 copy of Pantheism, because you only have 1 Pantheism. I'm still surprised that this card is not back at 2, but it's still really good. And then 1 copy of March, because March giving you the ability to kind of like, you know, cannot be targeted and destroyed by card effect, which is it's really nice to have. So this pretty much does it for your Monarch spells and traps, or should I say spells. Traps we still didn't move to them, but now we'll move on to the less, or should I say the generic spells. For the generic spells, you have 1 copy of Foolish Burial, because you can send your Eidos or NDL, whatever you want. Foolish Burial Goods, because you send your Pantheism or other cards that you need. Reinforcement of the Army to get Idea, and also 1 for 1 to get Idea in another way, so that's really nice. So these are your essentially one-offs to start. Foolish Burial Goods could be good in multiples, but I just don't feel most of the time you need it. So these are your 4 utility spells that really help you. So the utility spells are really nice. And then for your traps, you're only running 4. You're running 2 copies of the Monarch Erupt. I've seen people running this card at 3 in this deck. I just feel like you don't really have the spot and you want to run other things as well. But the Monarch Erupt is your own archetypal skill drain, which is really cool. And then lastly, we have the 2 copies of the Prime Monarch, which can either serve as recycle to your Monarch spells and traps if it's on board, and then like, you know, you recycle 2 of your Monarch spells and traps and then draw a card. But the other effect that you really care about is pretty much the effect Engrave, which you pretty much banish a Monarch spells and trap and then just, you know, special summon this as a monster, which could be used for tributing, which is really nice. So that's pretty much does it for the main deck and does it for deck profile. Monarchs are really straightforward. There's nothing really too much to explain about them. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. There is also no extra deck. You don't really want to have end traps. Side you could have, but I just thought like if you want to build a side, build it yourself, guys. I just don't really think like helping you guys with sides is the most correct choice sometimes, because everybody have their own side ideas. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel once again, and if you do enjoy things that I do or want to check them out, hit me up in the link and maybe like and subscribe my own videos. I do really cool things on my channel with the so-called set reviews and stuff like that, so if you want to check them out, I will be more than happy to. But yeah, see you guys next time. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys. Stay safe. Really stay safe, because this is a really hard time. Bye-bye.